Hello, everyone. Sorry to have to push this an hour later, but I had an appointment. I wasn't sure I was going to be done in time to do it at 3, and I would have been, but I didn't want to mess anything up after I already told you 4. So here we are. Okay, now that I've got my laptop cord untangled from my chair, let's get this shared to my page, and then we will get busy. If you are new to my Facebook Live, let's get that down a little bit. I come to you every week, usually at 3 on Thursday. Today I had to push it till 4. And we make something fun. And then the next week I give away whatever we made. So last week we made this fun Halloween card with the iridescent treat bag, piece of an iridescent treat bag behind it. So I'll tell you at the end who won that. And then next week, we'll give away this card. So the new holiday catalog launched yesterday. I put a link out there on Facebook so you can find that. And also a bunch of new online exclusive launched yesterday. And this is one of those online exclusives. So this is Beautiful Pumpkins. All right, sorry, I'm trying to talk and run my laptop at the same time. And it's a new online exclusive. So you won't find it in our new catalog. So this, let me get it out. Light's in the way. This is our new mini catalog that launched yesterday. And there are a bunch of, I can show you the inside now. There are a bunch of beautiful things in here. I know I'll be handing out some of these tonight at my card class for those that haven't gotten it. And you can always look at it all online also. Okay. Got that done. Let's get back to where I can see what we're doing here. All right. I think we're ready to roll. Okay. So this is, grab it real quick, Beautiful Pumpkins. It's a new online exclusive, and it has dies that go with it. Hey, buddy. So it has dies that cut out the pumpkins, both pumpkins, and the, I guess just one of the stems, not one that cuts out that, but there's also just standalone dies that cut out stems and leaves. And then this die cuts out this leaf. So it's a fun set. I love fall crafting, whether it's stamping or cross stitching. So let's get started with this. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat. All right. Oh, looks like I forgot to grab a scratch piece of Basic Beige. So this pumpkin is stamped on Basic Beige. I'll grab a scrap piece of that real quick. I think this is big enough. And we are using Timid Tiger. And I have found this is what we call two-step stamping. So you have a more detailed and then just a solid stamp. So that gives you the depth. So you have the darker stamping and the more detailed. I find it is easier to do the darker stamping first. It helps me line up the inside. So I'm just going to ink this up in Timid Tiger. And I'm using this because these are photopolymer. And they don't have a cushion like our rubber stamps do. I don't have one of those handy. And so using this just gives you a little cushion and helps them stamp better. All right, now I'm going to use the same color. So I'm using Timid Tiger, but instead of stamping it directly, I'm going to stamp it off first. And that will make this, I'm going to scoot that out of the way so I don't stick my elbow in it or something. That will make this lighter. So then you just line up the outside of it. And now you have a two-toned pumpkin. And that's all the stamping. I didn't put a sentiment on this. This set does have some nice sentiments, a couple of sentiments. And I could have put a long one down there. I just didn't on this one. But that leaves it available for whatever you want. You can stamp something on the inside or write or whatever. Okay, now let me grab my die cut machine. And we'll cut out this pumpkin. I'm going to pull this out of the way just because it will make the machine slide all over the place. So this is our mini. And this little pumpkin will fit in here just fine. So you're going to use your base plate, one of these, which are number 2. So number 1, number 2. And it's usually good to back this middle one off just a little bit, like that. Let's put our paper on here. Let me grab the die. So we need our big pumpkin die. You'll notice on mine, I draw around them all. This one's not that big of a deal. There's not as many, but some of them where there are so many dies that they're just barely fit on this paper, it helps to know where they came from. All right, so we'll put this on here. Just line up the edges. And then I like to, when it's something like this, just put a little piece of Post-it note tape. All right, and then your top one is going to go back even with your bottom one. So you've got kind of a little, your middle one is sticking out a little bit, and then you just run it through. And I always flip my plates every time just to help keep them from getting too warped. Let's move this back out of the way now. Bring this back in. Okay. And now we have our pumpkin. Okay. I'm going to put my die away just so I don't lose it. All right, now we're just ready to build everything. So this is really an easy card. I die cut already my little leaves and my little stem. So when I first did this card and the treat, so I kind of used the same thing for the treat bags for tonight, for my class tonight. I used my liquid glue, which works, but it did kind of seep through the little cracks in the stem and in the leaf. So for the rest of the treat bags, I did a glue dot. So that's just going to go kind of right down there. There's just like a little spot just made for it. And then your vine, or your leaves. I put my paper on upside down now, didn't I? All right, we'll fix that in a second. So you just stick that on there. And I'm going to put that up a little higher. All right, let's turn this around so it's right side up. There we go, that's better. All right, and I forgot to mention, but if you're new here, I post all the dimensions to my blog shortly after this video is done, so you don't have to worry about the dimensions of any of these pieces. I will post it on my blog. Okay, this is the Need for Tweed paper. It came out a month or two ago. It's an online exclusive, but it's got this green and red that's great for Christmas, black and white. Then it's got some brown. This is the one we're using. Some more just green, some more black and white. So it's just a really nice textured paper. But I decided that this looked really a lot like fall. All right, so we're going to glue this onto our, this is Early Espresso, and I've embossed it with the exposed brick embossing folder. It's always hard to pick that up on camera. And I like to use my liquid glue when I'm adhering to an embossed piece. So I just put this all the way to the left. This is was die cut with the Everyday Arches. I just turned it on its side. All right, now before we do anything else with this, we're gonna put some ribbon around it. Let me grab my tape. I forgot to grab it. So I have 2 pieces of ribbon. This is basic beige ribbon, and I'm gonna take the short piece and we are going to tape it to the back. You can use your Stampin' Seal or glue dots or tear and tape. I just use regular old Scotch tape. Nobody's gonna see this because we're gonna put this on our card base, so nobody will see that. All right, and then I have a basic beige card base. And I'm gonna grab my liquid adhesive again to put this onto our card base. And I do try and go close to the edge when it's embossed, because sometimes it wants to kind of pucker up if it's embossed. So just hold that for a minute, not a minute, but a few seconds, so that green glue, that liquid adhesive can get adhered. All right, this longer piece, and again, the measurements for all of this will be on my blog shortly after this video. So we're going to tie this around here, and I'm going to tie it in a bow. I'm going to attempt to tie it in a bow on camera. That is always a challenge, to tie anything on camera. All right, and then you can just kind of fiddle with it a little bit until you get it the size that you want. Which way does this want to turn? That way. And then you can always trim your ends a little bit if you need to. Just trim them just a little bit. There we go. Oops. All right. Now we're ready to add our pumpkin. So I did use double layers of dimensionals. So on my circle, we'll put 3. Because you want it to straddle that ribbon. And on this guy, I can also do 3. And I've run out of all of the pre-cut, so don't throw away this. These work just fine. I just cut the edges and then you can use them just fine. All right, put this on our card. I'll just set that in the middle of this. And then the last thing we need is some bling. So I've got our adhesive backed metallic gems, and they're in copper, gold, and silver. And I thought the copper would look good with this paper, and so I put a couple just right on the pumpkin itself, and then one more up on the circle, like that. It's always good to do your embellishments in a triangle. It can be a very squished triangle, but kind of in a triangular shape. And there you go. There is our card. Isn't that fun? I love these pumpkins. They're so pretty. All right. I only have one other card to show you with this set. I haven't had a lot of time to play with these new ones yet, but this is the card we're going to make tonight using this set. So this time we're not die cutting the pumpkins. We're just stamping them on a piece of basic beige. So All right, now let's see who won. Now that I've buried it, who won this card from last week? And that is Marion. That is 2 weeks in a row she's won, lucky girl. And I'm going to see her tonight at class, so I will give it to her then. All right, that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And be sure and comment here on Facebook if you want to be in the drawing for this pumpkin card. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye.